The stairwell echoed with cruel laughter as the final bell rang through Ridgewood High. Sophia Reyes tumbled backward, her body weightless for a split second before gravity took over. Her dark ponytail whipped like a battle flag in the wind as she fell, arms flailing, eyes wide with something the bullies mistook for terror. The blonde girl at the top of the stairs, Chloe Hargrove, smirked down at her, hands still outstretched from the shove. "Stay in your lane, scholarship trash," she sneered, flipping her hair as her friends cackled behind her. But in that frozen heartbeat, as Sophia's back slammed against the cold concrete steps and the world spun into a blur of pain and fluorescent lights, something ancient stirred behind her eyes. Something Chloe could never have seen coming. Because Sophia Reyes wasn't just the quiet new girl with the second-hand uniform and the perfect grades. She was the daughter of a decorated Marine, trained since she could walk in the unforgiving sands of 29 Palms, forged in silence and discipline while the world looked the other way. And today, the mask was about to crack. Let's go back to the beginning, 3 months before that fateful push. The late August sun scorched the cracked sidewalks of Ridgewood, California, a wealthy suburb where the houses grew bigger the farther you got from the freeway. Sophia stepped off the city bus with a single duffel bag slung over her shoulder, her new school uniform still creased from the package. At 17, she had the lean, coiled build of someone who had spent more time running 5-mile ruck marches with her father than scrolling on her phone. Her dark eyes scanned everything, cataloging exits, sight lines, threats, the way Colonel Marcus Reyes had taught her before the cancer took him 2 years ago. The will had been simple: one house in foreclosure, a stack of medical bills, and a single instruction written on a yellow legal pad: "Take care of your mother, Misha, and never let them see you bleed." So she didn't. Not when the realtor handed over the keys to the tiny apartment on the wrong side of the tracks. Not when her mother, Elena, started pulling double shifts at the hospital just to keep the lights on. And definitely not when she walked through the double doors of Ridgewood High for the first time and felt every privileged stare land on her like sniper fire. Chloe Hargrove noticed her immediately. Chloe noticed everyone. It was her job. Captain of the cheer squad, daughter of the biggest real estate developer in 3 counties, she moved through the hallways like royalty, her entourage orbiting her the way moons orbit a planet. And Sophia, with her quiet voice and thrift store backpack, was new gravity. It started small, a shoulder check in the cafeteria line that sent Sophia's tray clattering, a whispered charity case, just loud enough to carry. Then the social media posts, carefully cropped photos of Sophia eating alone in the library, captioned with laughing emojis and the words, "New girl energied." Sophia never reacted. She kept her head down, her grades perfect, her answers in class short and precise. She told herself it didn't matter. She had survived worse. She had survived boot leave with her father's platoon, running obstacle courses at 0400 while grown men twice her size puked in the dust. She had survived the night he died, holding his hand while the machines flat-lined and her mother sobbed into a paper mask. A few mean girls. They were nothing. But Chloe smelled the restraint like blood in the water. By October, the harassment had teeth. Sophia's locker was filled with trash. Her lab project mysteriously disappeared the night before it was due. And every time she walked past Chloe's circle, the laughter followed her like a shadow. The worst part wasn't the cruelty, it was the helplessness. Because Sophia had promised her father she would never use what he taught her unless she had no choice. "Violence is the last refuge of the incompetent," he used to quote, tapping the scar above his eye from Fallujah. But when it's the only language they understand, Misha speak it fluently. She was trying so hard not to speak it. Then came the day everything changed. It was a Thursday, grey skies threatening rain, the kind of afternoon that makes fluorescent lights feel colder. Sophia was late leaving chemistry because she'd stayed behind to help clean up a spilled beaker. She took the back stairs to avoid the main hallway crush. Chloe and 3 of her friends were waiting at the landing, blocking the way down. "Look who decided to take the servants' stairs," Chloe said, voice dripping honey and venom. "Wouldn't want you scuffing the marble with those dollar store shoes." Sophia's pulse stayed steady. She adjusted her backpack and tried to step around them. Chloe moved into her path. "Excuse me," Sophia said quietly. "Excuse me?" Chloe mimicked in a cartoonish accent, her friends bursting into laughter. "God, you're pathetic. Do you even speak English at home, or is it all CC aura and cleaning toilets?" The words hit harder than any fist could have, because Chloe didn't know. She didn't know that Sophia Reyes had a nursing degree from UCLA, that she'd put her husband through officer training by working nights, that the only reason they were poor now was because the VA ran out of money before the cancer ran out of fight. Sophia's jaw clenched so hard she tasted blood where she'd bitten the inside of her cheek. "Move," Sophia said, voice low. "Or what?" Chloe stepped closer, invading her space. "You gonna write me a strongly worded essay?" That's when Chloe shoved her. It wasn't playful. It was deliberate, 2 hands square on Sophia's chest, meant to send her sprawling down an entire flight of concrete stairs. Time slowed the way it does in combat, the way her father had trained her to make it slow. Sophia saw Chloe's manicured nails, the smug tilt of her mouth, the way her friends' phones were already up recording. She saw the drop behind her, 22 steps to the landing below, sharp edges that could snap a spine or crack a skull. And in that moment, something inside Sophia went very, very still. She could have caught herself. One twist of her hips, a grab for the railing, years of muscle memory from hand, to hand drills screaming at her to execute a perfect break fall. But she didn't. She let herself fall, because sometimes the best way to win a fight is to let the enemy think they've already won. Her body hit the stairs hard, shoulder first, then hip, then the back of her head cracking against the edge of a step. Pain exploded white, hot across her vision, but she forced herself to go limp, to slide the rest of the way like a broken doll. She landed in a heap at the bottom, books scattered, one shoe halfway across the floor. Above her, Chloe whooped in triumph. "Oh my God, did you see her face?" One of the girls squealed. "Post it tonight," Chloe ordered, already turning away. "This is gold." They left her there, laughter echoing up the stairwell like gunfire. Sophia waited until their footsteps faded. Then she pushed herself up, slow and deliberate, every joint screaming. Blood trickled from a cut above her eye, warm against her cold skin. She gathered her books, found her shoe, and walked to the nurse's office on legs that didn't shake. Not once. The nurse wanted to call an ambulance. Sophia refused. Concussion protocol. She'd had worse in the field. Stitches. She'd stitched herself up with dental floss at 14 after a training accident. She let them put a butterfly bandage on the cut and call her mom. But when Alina arrived frantic and tear-streaked, Sophia met her eyes and gave the tiniest shake of her head. Not yet. That night, the video went viral on the school's private Instagram stories. "Scholarship girl eats stairs," courtesy of Queen Chloe. 847 views in the first hour. Comments flooded in, laughing emojis, fire emojis, people tagging friends with deed. By morning, half the school had seen Sophia Reyes broken at the bottom of the stairs. They thought they'd won. They had no idea the war had just begun. Friday morning, Sophia walked into school like nothing had happened. The bandage was small, hidden under her hair. She wore her uniform pressed, shoes polished, posture perfect. The whispers followed her like smoke. Chloe sat at her usual table in the cafeteria, holding court, replaying the video on her phone for an audience that howled with laughter. Sophia set her tray down 3 tables away and began to eat. At lunch, the principal called her in. Grainy security footage showed the shove, but no audio, and Chloe's father was the school's biggest donor. "We take bullying very seriously," Principal Whitaker said, not meeting her eyes. "But there are 2 sides to every story. Perhaps if you could try harder to fit in." Sophia nodded, said yes, ma'am. Walked out. That afternoon, the sky finally broke and rain hammered the campus like artillery. Sophia stayed late again, this time in the library, headphones on, working on a history paper about the Battle of Fallujah. Coincidence? Maybe. At 5:47 p.m., the fire alarm went off. The building emptied into the downpour. Sophia waited until the halls cleared, then slipped back inside through a side door she'd learned stayed unlocked after cross-country practice. She moved like a ghost. Security cameras. She knew their blind spots. Her father had made her memorize building layouts the way other kids memorized TikTok dances. She wore black leggings under her skirt, hair tied back, the bandage replaced with a smaller one. In her backpack, a flash drive, a pair of nitrile gloves, and the kind of calm that comes when you've already accepted the cost. Chloe's locker combination was Child's Play 152809, her jersey number and birth year. Inside, designer bags, perfume, and a rose gold iPhone with no passcode because Chloe believed rules were for other people. Sophia plugged in the drive, downloaded everything, every photo, every video, every vicious text thread dating back 2 years. Not just of herself, dozens of victims, freshmen who'd transferred out, a sophomore who'd attempted suicide last spring. Evidence that painted Chloe not as a mean girl, but as a predator. Then Sophia did something her father would have been proud of. She didn't post it. Not yet. She waited. Monday morning, Chloe strutted into first period like a victor, new highlights gleaming under the lights. She didn't notice the way conversations died when she passed. Didn't see the phones being angled away. At 12 a.m., the intercom crackled. Chloe Hargrove, please report to the principal's office immediately. Chloe rolled her eyes but went. The rest of the school opened the anonymous Instagram account that had appeared overnight, Ridgewood Truth. The first post was the stairwell video, but this time with audio. Crystal clear audio. Every slur, every laugh, every triumphant. Post it tonight. Then the next post, screenshots of Chloe bragging about paying someone to trash Sophia's project. Then the text calling a freshman the R word. Then the video of Chloe and her friends dumping chocolate milk on a special needs kid last year while filming it for content. By lunch, the account had 3,000 followers. Parents were being tagged. Local news picked it up. Chloe's father's company started getting calls. Chloe came storming out of the principal's office, white-faced, suspended pending investigation. She saw Sophia standing by the lockers, calm, hands folded in front of her like a soldier at parade rest. "You did this?" Chloe hissed, voice shaking with rage and something close to fear. "You'll regret it." Sophia stepped closer, close enough that only Chloe could hear. "You put your hands on me," she said softly. "You tried to break me on those stairs. But here's the thing you never understood, Chloe. My father was a Marine. He taught me that real power isn't pushing someone down. It's choosing not to destroy you when I easily could have." Chloe opened her mouth, but nothing came out. "I'm not going to hit you," Sophia continued. "I'm not going to humiliate you more than you've already done to yourself. I'm just going to walk away. And every day, for the rest of your life, you're going to remember that the quiet girl you thought was weak, she let you live." She stepped around Chloe like she was furniture. 2 weeks later, Chloe transferred schools. Her father's company settled quietly with 3 families. The Ridgewood Truth account disappeared as mysteriously as it had appeared, but not before the damage was done. Ridgewood High implemented new anti-bullying policies. The stairwell got padded railings. And Sophia Reyes, she graduated valedictorian, accepted a full ride ROTC scholarship to Annapolis, and never once told anyone exactly how that Instagram account got created. But sometimes late at night, when the new freshmen whisper about the legend of the girl who fell down the stairs and brought a queen to her knees without ever throwing a punch, they say if you stand at the top of that stairwell at exactly 5:47 p.m., you can still hear it. The faintest echo of combat boots on concrete. The sound of discipline, patience, and unbreakable will. Because some warriors don't need to fight to win. They just need you to push them one last time. If this story moved you, drop a like and let me know in the comments. Have you ever been underestimated and then shocked the world when you finally stood up? What would you have done in Sophia's shoes? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because every week we're bringing you more cinematic, real-life stories of courage, justice, and redemption that the internet can't stop talking about. Share this with someone who needs to hear that quiet doesn't mean weak. This is Eternal Stories, and we'll see you in the next one. Semper Fi.